Let's jump right into a really frustrating truth that the gear industry kind of hopes you never figure out. If you're a guitarist running a home studio, you absolutely know the pain I'm talking about. You've got the chops, you've saved up for decent gear, but when you hit playback, something just sounds off. Well, in this explainer, we're going to fix that. And honestly, it's not going to cost you a single dime. I've got to speak directly to you here, just guitarist to guitarist. I wasted years, literally years, blaming my gear. I blamed my expensive interface, my vintage amp, my high-end plugins, all because my recordings sounded muddy and boxy. Just amateurish. I kept thinking, man, if I just buy this next microphone or upgrade my preamp, my tone will finally sound like the records I love. But you know what? That's exactly what big audio retailers want us to think. Most of us have the answer entirely backwards. Because your guitar tone, it's being ruined before you even play a single note.
So here is the hard truth. Your room is the enemy. We're going to uncover why the physical space you're sitting in right now is the ultimate invisible enemy of your tone. It's not your fretboard technique, it's not your amp settings, and it is definitely not a lack of expensive gear. It's literally the drywall, the hardwood floor, and the ceiling surrounding you.
Just think about the basic architecture most of us are dealing with. If you're set up in a standard American bedroom or a spare room with opposing parallel walls, your sound is quite literally bouncing back and forth, just colliding with itself. The gear industry, they don't talk about this because they can't sell you a new wall. When sound leaves your speaker, it doesn't just go straight into your microphone, it goes everywhere. It hits those flat, parallel surfaces and bounces right back, and that creates absolute chaos in the air around you. Those reflections travel back on their exact own paths. When the sound waves mate, they interfere with each other. Sometimes they meet out of phase, and they violently cancel out some frequencies. That creates these massive dips where your tone just disappears. Other times they meet in phase, massively boosting certain frequencies until they drone and overpower the whole mix. So you aren't just recording your amp, you're recording this chaotic collision. Right, so now that we've kind of pictured the problem, we can give it a formal name. These are called standing waves, or room modes. I promise to keep the science jargon light, no complex math here, but you really do need to know those terms. Standing waves are these natural resonances where the physical dimensions of your room perfectly match the wavelength of a sound, and they are literally destroying your mix by creating completely unnatural peaks and completely dead nulls right in your low-end response. And man, this creates a massive, heartbreaking disconnect for us guitarists. You dial in your tone, you stand in the middle of the room, and your amp sounds massive, warm, and articulate, right? But then you hit record. The microphone ends up capturing all of that nasty, exaggerated low-mid buildup bouncing off your walls. See, the mic doesn't have a human brain to naturally filter out those room reflections. It just blindly records the standing waves. Welcome to the mud zone. Small rooms naturally trap low frequencies. Specifically, they create this boxy, muddy nightmare right in the 200 to 400 hertz range. And this is an absolute disaster for guitarists, because that exact frequency range, that's where your guitar's body and clarity live. If that range gets swamped by room resonance, your recording will always sound like a cheap demo, no matter how much that guitar cost you. Acoustic research points out something pretty brutal. If these sound waves bounce repeatedly between parallel walls, they create what's called flutter echo. And if they reinforce particular frequencies, they create those peaks we talked about. These lingering resonances actually smother the clarity of your playing. They act like this unwanted, muddy reverb baked right into your track. And here's the harsh reality I had to learn the hard way. You can never equalize that out of the track. Once the room's muddy decay is recorded into the microphone, literally no EQ plugin in the world can unbake that cake. Now I know exactly what you're thinking. Well, I'll just jam an SM57 right into the speaker grill. That'll block out the room. But no, even in the near field, early reflections from your hard desk, your floor, and your sidewalls, they're arriving at the microphone just milliseconds after the direct sound. This creates what's known as comb filtering, and it absolutely smears your stereo image and just kills all that high-end detail. Okay, so I've probably made you thoroughly depressed about your room, but here is where we take our power back. The gear industry wants you to go buy another $2,000 guitar or some boutique preamp to fix this, but I'm going to show you how to fix your room today, right now, with things you already own. We are going to do the $0 studio fix. To take control of our environment, look, we don't need to be acoustic engineers, but we do need to use two basic acoustic concepts. First up is absorption. This is using dense materials to soak up acoustic energy, specifically to tame that muddy bass.
And second is diffusion. This is using irregular surfaces to scatter those harsh, high-frequency reflections so they don't just bounce straight back at your mic. Let's start with diffusion. Honestly, nobody talks about this, but it is such a brilliant trick. If you leave your books uneven, varying in height, thickness, depth, that irregularity scatters sound in a way that is broadband, organic, and it's already right there in your home. An ordinary bookshelf, packed randomly with books of different sizes, is actually an incredible, high-quality acoustic diffuser. It acts just like those expensive wooden diffusers you see in world-class studios. By simply placing an unevenly stocked bookshelf on your back wall or your side walls, you break up those standing waves. When the sound wave hits the books, instead of bouncing back as a harsh, coherent reflection, it shatters. It scatters in a dozen different directions. That stops that annoying slap-back echo dead in its tracks, and it does it without sucking the life and the air out of the room. Next, we've got to tackle the hardest part, absorbing that low-end mud in the 200 to 400 hertz range. That thin, cheap acoustic foam you buy on the internet, it won't do a single thing for bass. But everyday heavy furniture will. Thick, dense sofas, or even an extra mattress shoved against the back wall or stuffed into the corners of your room act as massive, highly effective bass traps. They physically absorb the low-frequency energy. They tame that buildup and neutralize those muddy room modes. And the best part? The fix costs me nothing. Finally, let's treat the remaining flat surfaces. Throwing down thick rugs over your hardwood floor or pulling heavy, thick curtains over your windows, that will instantly cut out high-frequency flutter echo. Again, won't cost you a dime. And hey, if you're recording vocals or maybe a delicate acoustic guitar, you can even drape heavy blankets over mic stands or chairs around the performer to create instant DIY acoustic baffles. The whole ultimate goal here is redirection. By strategically placing your bookshelves, your heavy furniture, and your rugs, you're redirecting, scattering, and absorbing these sound waves. You're basically creating a space where the sound from your amplifier reaches the microphone cleanly, while the room's reflections are controlled. They don't bounce straight back into the mic and smear your precious tone. So let's quickly recap your $0 acoustic battle plan so you can literally go do this today. Step 1. Identify your parallel walls. Figure out exactly where the sound is bouncing. Step 2. Break up those flat surfaces. Move an uneven bookshelf to the side or rear wall. Step 3. Soak up the bass by pushing a heavy sofa against the back wall or right into a corner. And step 4, kill the floor echo by just throwing down a thick rug between your amp and your listening position. When you finally apply this $0 fix, I'm telling you, the difference is genuinely shocking. As the acoustic theory beautifully puts it, the room doesn't sound brighter, it sounds deeper. That muddy smear just disappears. Your stereo image suddenly snaps right into laser focus. The low end of your guitar is going to sound punchy instead of bloated. And your home recordings will finally start to sound like professional studio tracks. And this brings us to a massively controversial question, and frankly, one that makes the big audio retailers sweat a little bit. Is acoustic treatment, even DIY $0 treatment, more important than buying better gear? Like, if you have $500 to spend, should it go to a sweet new pedal board or to acoustic panels for your room? Well, the truth is, most guitarists have the answer backwards. And I've lived this. You can plug a modest $500 guitar into a beautifully treated room and it will sound phenomenal. Punchy, clear, huge. But if you put a $5,000 vintage rig into an untreated, muddy bedroom, it will always sound cheap and boxy on the recording. Always. So stop fighting your gear and start fixing your room. Try moving some furniture around today and just listen to your tone transform. So, what are you going to move first?